Welcome to the channel. Usually I post shorts, but for today I'll be talking about the upcoming 1x rework. Depending on how much I edit the video, you might see this after the rework is released. This analysis is based on personal experience. I've had 1x milestone 4 before the likes of Slasher, and currently have them at the level of 220 at the time of recording. I also will try not to be biased, as this is going to talk about 1x right before the rework, not mentioning their prime state. For this analysis, I will first be going over 1x's stats, general gameplay and playstyle, pros and cons, tips and tricks that I've personally done, and finally, the conclusion. First, let's get their stats in detail before the rework. First, base stats. 1x has a walk speed of 8 and a sprint speed of 27, making him currently the slowest killer in the game. 1x is stated to have a passive. It says every attack ability inflicts the hit survivor with glitch and poison. However, at the moment, the minions do not do this, and entanglement doesn't give any status effects. But I'll still go over them. Glitched obstructs the stamina and health information on the side of your screen, and nothing else. However, the more glitched you have, the more you can't see your stats. Poison is a simple status effect that gives you a specific amount of health taken per second, which changes on your poison level. It's faster and or higher the higher level you go. I'll put a table on screen for a quick second to show what to know about the poison, if any if you need it. Anyways, on to the actual abilities. 1x's M1 does 20 base damage and 28 damage after poison. It inflicts 5 seconds of poison and glitched, and hitting a survivor that already has these status effects increases the status effect level by 1 and resets the 5-second timer. It has a 0.4-second windup, 0.25 seconds of linger, and 8 studs of reach, being basically the same as John Doe. Next, mass infection. Mass infection is a large projectile that cannot be aimed vertically and goes through walls. It has a medium speed and a 1.7-second windup, with a sound cue that every player in the server can hear. If hit, it does 35 initial damage and 43 after poison. Entanglement is a smaller projectile that also goes through walls and cannot be aimed vertically. It has a 0.75-second windup and deals 10 damage. It gives the survivor slowness 10 and helpless until they finish a minigame or 3 seconds have passed, which will then give them speed 1 for 1 second. It gives 1x speed 2 for 3 seconds, so they can catch up to the survivor. Unstable Eye is a utility tool that gives global highlight, speed to 1x, and blindness. It can also be heard by everyone on the map, so they can know if they might be hit with a projectile. Rejuvenate the Rotten will spawn a minion on top of killed survivors' corpses. It has a 200-second cooldown, and multiple minions can be spawned from one body. When a survivor is in a range of 30 studs, they will chase the survivor until they are 50 studs away or they hit them. If the minions hit a survivor, they will deal 14 damage. They have 5 health, meaning any stun or 1x attack will kill them, including mass infection and entanglement. 1x is a projectile-reliant killer. Notice how I say projectile-reliant and not projectile-based. 1x needs to hit their projectiles or they lose. This is because mass infection allows 1x to deal a huge chunk of damage to survivors, and entanglement is heavily required to catch up in a chase. Unstable Eye is not good as a general speed boost, as the survivor makes a decent amount of distance while you stand still during it. You can really only use it during loops or on cornered survivors. Otherwise, it's just a highlighting tool. 1 times is also very luck dependent as well. If you miss too many projectiles, you lose. If you hit them consistently, you win. If you get a small lobby, you won't have enough minions to help you. If you get a large lobby, you basically get a free win in LMS. However, it's not only luck reliant, as I will go over the pros and cons of them and show how to try to be consistent. One times being luck reliant means if you have good luck, you can basically always win. Mass infection takes 3 hits to kill anyone, doing 43 after poison each time. Entanglement is also a free speed boost and stun every time you use it, and can almost guarantee an M1 once you land it. If you get an inexperienced player stuck in entanglement, you can even pull off the infamous entanglement and mass infection combo, doing 85 damage after poison. Unstable Eye is just a nice global highlight and sometimes useful speed tool, and the minions hard carry LMS. However, it comes with its cons. You know how I said 1x was luck dependent? It's just more than landing the abilities, it's also on the survivor. If the survivor is skilled enough, they can not just dodge, but react to the direction the projectiles are going, making them nearly impossible to hit. Mass infection is insanely slow, making even average skilled players able to react and dodge it. Not to mention it's currently blockable by guests, so they can stun you almost every time they use it because of the absurdly low cooldown of block. It only gets more annoying if there's multiple guests in your lobby, sometimes not even allowing you to use it without checking your back like the guests are 2 times. Shedletsky and Chance also counter mass infection. However, it's more strict and planned than a guest block since they have windups. Entanglement is also very luck dependent. It's faster than mass infection, so it's much harder to react to it and dodge, but it's still dodgeable. But the main thing is console and mobile users. Experienced console and mobile users can escape the attack literally before you can even M1 them, making it only a speed boost if you hit it at times. Unstable Eye is unusable in most cases, since the survivor gains a ton of distance while you're standing still, and the minions are useless if they clump up in one spot, or there's only a few of them. Plus, guests can charge one of them, not only killing them, but gaining free distance in chase since they don't gain slowness. And the main hard counters, elevation and breaking line of sight. Any elevated map, and I mean any, are terrible for 1x. Yorick's resting place makes entanglement almost useless, and mass infection has quite a few areas to incline to while you charge it for almost 2 seconds. And breaking line of sight doubles the luck factor, as you don't see their position, and it's up to guessing if they use the sound cue for your moves to dodge, walk instead of sprint, or just keep going. Over the time, I've come up with some ways to make 1x more consistent. First, I'll call this first tech, hitbox hiding. It's when you use your M1 on low stamina, then spam entanglement right after. Although your body still twirls around, it's very unexpected for you to just use it right after, and with the hitbox lingering over a small portion of your animation, you can up your chances of hitting it. It works best on the martyr skin because the entanglement sound cue and animation is much more subtle. Second tech, common sense prediction. There's prediction, but then there's using common sense. For example, in the background clip, I was going to hit this survivor with entanglement. When looping, you typically want to hug walls, so when I used it, I knew he was most likely going to dodge left. I did this multiple times. You can also use it with common sense by using it when the survivor is on low stamina, and timing it so they either have to hit true 0 to dodge, or just get hit. Either way, it's a win-win for you. Second is called mass infection tracking. This is when you go into shift lock or first person to track where the survivor is moving and aim towards them, increasing your chances of hitting mass infection. This is better in first person because shift lock has a slight delay on turning your character. I stopped using it once most people just started reacting to it, but it's still useful for minimizing the luck factor to 1 times. The only other tip I have is not always saving minions for last. If you time it right, you can actually have more than 8 minions on the map due to Rejuvenate the Rocky, having a 200-second cooldown. You can either use this to clutch rounds with tons of survivors and low people killed, or just use it when the time is low. In general, you might have less minions in LMS, but at least you have something more to support you. For the next section, I'll be beating a lobby with somewhat experienced players in it. I won't have a voice going on, so you can use my analysis to try and better your experiences. as I know the rework will still have some core gameplay the same. Anyways, here's the round. 1x is a very inconsistent killer that relies on their projectiles to be good. This is only hindered by the fact that many players are experienced enough to react to the projectiles and make them even less useful. 1x also gets countered heavily by elevation and line of sight, so it can be a struggle to use this killer at times, on top of sentinels and their device-dependent minigame. However, 1x's damage output is high and can also be the only way they get kills. Any inexperienced player is a free kill for them, and they may be able to kill enough survivors to make it actually matter in LMS. Overall, 1x is the most inconsistent killer in Forsaken. He can get stomped on one round and do amazing in another. With their incoming rework, they will fix the many problems with current 1x, whether being unfair for survivor and killer, to be more balanced and having proper counters and more rewarding attacks. That's it. Thanks for watching. I usually do shorts, but I wanted to make a video about 1x since it was my first main. If you want to, check out my shorts and my hot take series. Anyways, bye.